Thank you, viewers, for coming to watch our program again. And please, as you watch, if what we are doing is good, you are benefiting from the messages, endeavor to share the messages so that others can get access to them. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. It's very important for us to ensure that we gain good viewership. Now, today we are going to round up on our cooperative governance talk, and we are having our part 3 today. And we are discussing how Apex cooperative societies function, how these Apex cooperative societies function. So, as you know, the primary cooperative societies have almost the same governance structure as the Apex societies, although there are just a few minor differences. Number one difference is the fact that the Apexes, most of them have boards. The primary societies don't have boards. And then there is also the issue of who becomes the member of these societies, of the Apex societies. The members are mostly other societies, as against the case of primary societies that are individuals. And then we are also looking at another difference, which is about the duties these Apex cooperative societies perform. So the duties they perform is totally different from what the primary cooperative societies are doing. And basically what the Apexes do is to facilitate and support the primary cooperative societies. They facilitate them, they support them. So there are, of course, other activities they do. We expect them to unite the cooperative societies that are their affiliates, the cooperative societies that are their members. They have a duty to unite them. And then they also promote activities, various activities, developmental activities around them. It's a responsibility they owe. And then they also promote other interests, general interests of these cooperative societies that are their members. The interests are promoted in the forms of things like advocacy. They speak on their behalf and they make cases on their behalf. The cooperative societies have interests that are of general nature, and it is only the Apex cooperative societies that can represent these societies and speak on their behalf. This is what the Apex societies actually do. They give various technical support, to the cooperative societies. Cooperative societies, especially the primary societies, sometimes are not very buoyant to be able to bear the burden, particularly technical burden, financial burdens of some of the activities they engage in. So it is the duty of their Apexes to provide technical support for them. And quite a number of the Apex societies do this kind of thing. They also help in providing input supply. Sometimes they go to the extent of assisting them in creating market for whatever products and services they have. And some of them are also known to help in organizing credit facilities for their affiliate societies. So you can see that the responsibility of the Apex Cooperative Society is quite different from that of the cooperative primary societies. So they provide generally unity and then support the interests of their primary affiliates as well. So having done that, they also assist in the area of training for cooperative societies under them. So these are peculiar activities that the apexes are doing. The issue we have to talk about today is to what extent are these apexes performing these services, performing these duties that they have responsibility to perform. I am aware that many of them are doing their best. But there are others that are actually not performing. In fact, others become bad example for their affiliates. Why there are some that are totally dead and have become moribund. That is a rather unfortunate situation, and it is worse in the case of a state where a state apex is moribund. And we have examples that I wouldn't personally want to mention here, but there are one or two states where their state apexes are dead, and we are using this opportunity to call on them to do something about this. Now, as a cooperative federation, we have the Cooperative Federation of Nigeria as an apex, umbrella apex, for cooperative movement in Nigeria. The Cooperative Federation is actually doing quite a lot in terms of uniting the membership, the cooperative movement itself in the country. They are doing quite a lot, to provoke programs and activities that will benefit the cooperative movement in Nigeria. Quite a lot of that, is being done by CFN, and to the extent that they need all the encouragement. I know that they have been following up, like I mentioned the other time, on a number of national housing programs that they will want the cooperative movement to drive. And some of them are gradually becoming fruitful, So cooperatives, the CFN is also trying quite a lot to see how to create a dependable database, for the cooperative movement in the Nigeria. This is something that is lacking. Most times when people are discussing data, of performance around cooperatives in Nigeria, they are largely guesstimates, but this time around the CFN wants to get it right. And it's actually their responsibility to do so, and they have to work with relevant stakeholders like the regulators themselves and other organizations like the National Bureau of Statistics, to get this peculiar database for the cooperative movement in Nigeria. So there are a number of commodity-based apexes, national apexes, state apexes, and we are not getting quite a lot of information and data on what they are doing. And we want the activities, to show up, to come up, such that people will begin to appreciate the duties that the apexes are performing. So unless the apexes, turn around, show good example. For instance, when we talk about showing good example, they have to show example in best practices for cooperatives. A situation where some apexes are still engaged in staying beyond approved tenures for them in the bylaw is not an example to their affiliates. And I think this is what regulators, whether at state level or federal government level, need to put their feet strong on the ground, to try to stop. It is still persisting, and we are calling on the regulators to do something about it. The issue of who regulates the cooperative societies have come up from time to time, and I want to use this opportunity to provide a clarification that the regulator of the cooperative societies is the Department of Cooperative, whether at the state level or at the federal level. I have had a few instances to learn that some apexes are of the view that they equally regulate the cooperative societies along with the major regulator that we know, the Department of Cooperatives. And I think it's a misnomer. We have said that technically the apexes support their primary affiliates. They don't regulate them. To regulate means that apart from providing guidelines, and support, technical support, you also have to punish should your affiliates do something that is wrong. But the apexes don't have authority to punish any society. They provide guidelines. Punishment can only be given by the regulator department where a society, goes wrong. So it's better we get some of these facts clear so that, each tier of the cooperative movement, like the apexes, will restrict themselves, to enormous jobs and duties they have. If they're able to, unite the cooperatives and then work collaboratively with one another, I think the problems that we have generally with cooperatives will be reduced to the barest minimum. Thank you.